Hi, Dave from Buzzy here. Just a quick video to show some features we released today which should make everyone's life a lot easier. We've noticed that everyone's publishing from Buzzy and really struggling with this notion of a resizing viewport and getting a Figma design which has got a static screen layout here into a responsive viewport, which might be a device or a browser. So, as of this afternoon, we've introduced a new layout mode called Fixed Layout, which is going to be the default moving forward when you're publishing screens. So I've got my screen design here. It's a basic splash screen. You can see it's got a background image, some text, and a start button. Here's my plugin. We notice we don't let you actually publish now unless you've defined a screen. So this is kind of just to put things on rails a little bit. You need to define a screen before you can publish anything. So let's just do that. Here's our screen, start screen, and we're going to make it a screen of type home. That's it. Now you'll notice when we define a screen down here, there's a new little switch called make screen responsive. So this is what was previously our default publishing mode or layout mode. It was a responsive screen that would fill the viewport until you gave it constraints such as min and max width and so on. From now, the default mode, that is off. So what we'll publish, if you go to publish now, is a screen that's this exact size, and all your design elements will be in their exact positions as they relate to your design screen. So let's just convert this. There it is. I'll open that in a browser. Here it is. And look at that, there's our screen exactly as we designed it. Now what happens if you hand this off to users to test, for instance, and they're in a browser and they resize their browser, and you say, well, I want this splash screen to be full screen, I want this image to take up the whole screen, I want these things to be positioned off the top and off the bottom and so on as the screen resizes. That's what responsive mode is for. So if we come back to our plugin here, and turn this on, you notice we now have options to set a min and max width. I won't do that for now, but let's go update our app. And there we go. I've already got it open, so I'll just hit refresh. Here's our design. Oh no, what has happened? Things are partially full screen, but nothing's kind of behaving the way I'm expecting it to. My image isn't taking up the whole background. My welcome text is kind of just stuck off the top left there. My button's moving around weirdly. What's going on? This isn't broken. This is just the layout we actually designed in Figma. So if we jump back into Figma and have a look at the way that we've constrained or positioned all these design elements, you'll see that they're exactly where they are in what we thought was a broken view just then. So one way to test this is take your screen in Figma and resize it, and you'll see the way that things move or don't move in this case are reflected in our full screen viewport that we just saw then. So when we look at these elements, if we want to fix that, for instance, we've got to use Figma's own layout and positioning constraints. For instance, this welcome text, you'll note is positioned off the top left. We don't want it off the left edge, we want it to be centered. Sorry, vertically centered off the top. There we go. If we look at our image, for instance, again, that's been positioned top left and it's got fixed width and height. That's not going to resize as our browser viewport resizes. So let's position that off left and right and top and bottom edges. You'll notice it's dragged right to the edge of our screen, so that's going to maintain that relative positioning, like 0 pixels in and 0 pixels either side as well. So you can test this if we resize our window now. There we go. You'll see it's positioning itself and filling the viewport or the screen that we've designed in Figma. Same thing applies to this button. The moment it's positioned off the right edge and the top, we probably should hang that off the bottom there and center it. Sorry, off the bottom and centered. So now there it goes. Things are now behaving as we might expect them to as we resize this screen. So if we update our app now, jump back to our preview, hit refresh, and there we go. Buttons centered and fixed to the bottom of the screen. Our welcome text is centered, and our image fills our viewport as it resizes. So we've just created a responsive screen from a static Figma layout. As I said before, the responsive mode is now going to be like an advanced mode. You have to manually turn it on and consciously make a decision that you're going to apply this. If you turn this off, and moving forward, that's going to be the default. And we can do this to this screen as well. If we go back to our thing, we've just turned responsive mode off. If we refresh, bingo, we're back to a static screen design. Now, one thing to note, moving forward, while that is this fixed mode is going to be the default, it should make your life a lot easier, because what you see in Figma is what you're going to get in the browser here, for instance. Existing apps that you've already marked up will maintain that responsive toggle. They'll remain in responsive view because you presumably have already started defining them that way. But yeah, so that's introducing the fixed layout mode, which should hopefully make everyone's life a lot easier. Let us know in Slack what you think. Get in touch. Be good to hear from you. Thanks very much.